Ooh.
I don't.
Okay, welcome everybody. Today for our poetry, we have Mike Jurkovic, or Jurkovic. I'm sorry, I should have asked ahead of time.
It's all good.
Published globally with little to no reportable income. Mike's full-length collections include upcoming haiku collection, Monet's Bamboo, Buckshot Reckoning, Moon Cussers, American Mental, Blue Fan Whirring. Anthologies are Calling All Poets 20th Anniversary Anthology, Reflecting Pool, Poets in the Creative Process, Like Light, 25 Years of Poetry and Prose, and others. Now in its 25th year, Mike serves as president of Calling All Poets, New Paltz, Beacon, New York. A 2016 Pushcart nominee, online CD reviews appear at All About Jazz and lightwoodpress.com. Co-chair. Music fan film series, Rosendale Theater, and he's the host of New Jazz Excursions, WVKR 91.3 FM, Vassar College. Regional music and art features Van Wyck Gazette, 2013 to 2020. The Rock and Roll Curmudgeon appeared in Rhythm and News magazine, 1996 to 2003, and he loves Emily most of all. And that's what the bio says.
Thank you.
Rosemary, thank you very much. So, Mike, I hope you made a few bucks along the way. When I read the bio again, I was like, I was hoping there was a little cash that was flying your way.
Last year I made a few bucks, man. But let's put the emphasis on few, and we'll keep it there.
Well, there was a stat in the New York Times. I've got to find it. I think the highest percentage of people in their 80s are working in the United States ever. It's got to be like 8 or 9%. Now, it doesn't seem like a big number, but yeah. And 70s, forget 70s. I think 25% of the people in their 70s are working or more. Yeah. Forget about those young people. Yeah, it's up to us old people to keep working, Mike.
Working. I got to keep going out there.
Yeah.
Thanks for making my day with that.
So, Mike, our theme this year is igniting sparks in the dark. So, what was your reaction to that, or your thinking about that?
Well, I mean, one can't possibly get away from the darkness of our politics and our cultural and societal settings. So I'm thinking that the spark would be any kind of true free speech, anything that makes people think, besides being led by other people's thoughts. That's pretty much how it came to me.
Yeah, there is a lot of darkness. Yeah.
I mean, I always
think, yeah.
I don't want to sound bummer, but I mean, it's just gonna be hard to avoid it. Just the way it is.
It's everywhere. Unfortunately, yeah. It's like the Matrix or something. I don't know. We're inside another movie or something. We don't know it.
Yeah, I won't bring too much politics into our discussion today, except for what I just mentioned. But I'll try and keep it somewhat humorous.
So, is there a poem you'd like to start off with that, maybe share some light with us?
Yeah, sure. Why not? This is the title poem of a new collection I've been working on over the last 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks. And it's called Circling Planes. I spent vernissage circling planes with Merwin and O'Connor. When writers worry, they do God's job, she said to Bill, who replied, each stone leads back to a mountain. I couldn't keep up with this conversation even if I weren't down 4 shots on an empty stomach and hadn't been drunk the night before with E.E., who told me, live by love, though the stars walk backwards. Accepting oneself does not preclude an attempt to become better, she said, adjusting her crazy-ass glasses. Here's our drinks, I boast and declare. no longer the dumbest in the room.
Yeah.
Just need the name of the bar for that one, Mike.
The name of the what? Oh, the bar.
The bar. Yeah.
Well, we could call it vernissage because that's the whatever the italicized name of the song, name of the poem, and what vernissage is a French word for the night before you open up an art exhibition.
Oh,
So we'll call the bar vernissage.
yeah. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I like the 4 shots down. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and keep it humorous, so it's
Yeah, we need humor. You definitely need some humor.
every now and then, you find a quote or something or a attribution to someone, and you try and fit it into what you're doing, and those just seem to fall in pretty naturally. So that's what I did there.
Nice. So, any want to keep going with your?
Yeah,
some
I'll
poems?
I'll read a couple more, sure. I take it we're all writers out there. I know I see at least 3 or 4 of them. So you're gonna know what this one's about, and it's called In Certain States. Coming to the last page of any notebook is an antsy arrival and departure for me. How far outside the guidelines will this one fall? What standardized email will announce, unfortunately, your work is unsuitable for Bigsby Beige? Our editors were not thrilled by your verbiage, nor moved to compassionately consider your cultish use of simile, semaphore, and ruin. Quite frankly, we're insulted you even presented your work to us. But if you'd like to subscribe to Bixby Beige, please consider a $25 2-year membership, tax deductible in certain states.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like these.
This one is a short one. It's called Song 29. The barred owl howls, and everything in the forest turns its head to hearken. Even me, longing to sing a blues like that.
I like these. They're all like short and sweet. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize more and more that the less words I use, the less trouble I can get into. So yeah, we're going to keep it that way. This is called Why I Don't Buy Newspapers. White beats, black stabs, brown kills, yellow man rape shoots, mother boiling baby. Senator screws page. Starlet makes millions portraying mother boiling baby. Bomb shatter innocence. Nation eats nation. Tonight, the first lady buys a penis extension and baby births baby in a garbage can crib. I'd rather die an idiot than a genius of their making.
Ooh. Well, I read 4 newspapers a day, so I don't know. Maybe I'll have to cut back.
I haven't read 4 newspapers a day. I don't think I used to read 4 newspapers a day, even when we were working and just hanging out.
Now, I read the New York Times, the Boston Globe, the Wall Street Journal, and usually the Portland Press Herald. I don't read it all, but I read a lot of it. So yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, Mike, I need another life. I need more poetry, I think. That's that. We need more poetry shows. Yeah.
Maybe you need to go back to work.
No, I'm working. I'm still working.
Oh, that's right. You do. That's right.
Yeah, working, poetry, and I do beer trips. That's the three parts of the triangle.
Wow. This next one is a relatively new one. It's based on a true story is what I'm trying to say. And this is called Two Guys on the Astral Plane. How'd you get here so fast? St. Peter asks. So I say, I had a 7-mile jump on all the rest. We were 38,000 feet above Charlotte, I say, knowing full well he knew full well and was testing my wiry candor. I know it was the wine, I say. He then quoted the heavenly manual. You come here when you called and you wait in the queue. But I'm here now, if ever I was, I say. My blood pressure cuff still tied on my arm, my shoes untied, my shirt undone, my hair a quiff of its former coif. Hey, Pete, I say, unrepentant, we're just 2 guys on the astral plane rooting for the same team. Come on. Just what did the big man say? You're in, he said. Now wait right here. That is based on a true story. Emily and I were supposed to go out west early in December, and somewhere above either Baltimore or Charlotte, I had a blood pressure drop, and we never got any further than Charlotte. This one's called Buzzy Effect. The uniform insanity of genius is a real thing. I read about it, a mock-up of St. Dooley's Bible, circa 1603, last gasping November when aberrant wants led the way. Noah's receipt was on display, and I had a ticket to another millennial, another dog, a 3-bit debut by the latest chop shop magpie on the edge of error. But to be truthful, if not poetic, the edge of error intrigued me. My neighbor's dagger startling in the light, the edge of error and the conflicts pursued, drawing all men to that central blast, leaving them burning like so many wars.
So, Mike, when you write, let's say your new edition, is there a general theme for the collection, or are you just assembling things from different points in time?
It's usually from different points in time. I usually let the vibe of one carry into the vibe of the other, or at least try, and that becomes the narrative. So you can imagine how big that storyline is.
I like it. I like it.
But that's how I do it. That's pretty much how I work them. I think the only one I really worked on that was going to have some kind of overarching theme, excuse me, was American Mental, because that was just going to be a journal of the last 8 years, politically speaking.
So let me ask you one more thing. You said that if you write longer poems, you get in trouble. What kind of trouble?
They get too wordy, and then I start tripping over them. I start tripping over myself, and it's like, okay, I've lost the meaning somewhere along the line, you know?
Yeah.
Or you're trying to like tell the meaning instead of infer it, or you're trying to infer it too vaguely to mean it. I see what I mean. It gets in trouble, and it's so the less I can use, the better.
Good. No, that's good. That's a good explanation. Yeah. Less is more.
Yeah. This poem. I know some of you are familiar with the poet Lenny De La Roca down there in Florida, and he's recently devised this thing called the E-poem. And what it is it has to fit on one page, and it's your first long line, 18 short ones, long line, 18 short ones, long line. So it fits as an E on the page. And this is called The Other Disciple Whom Jesus Loved. Peter, the apostle, was an affable dude who denied the boss 3 times and charged headfirst into the churning Galilee. Who wrote this book about disquiet, you see, its tender hooks and daisies, its manifestations of pain breaking like thunder from the left shoulder down your arm into your chest, seizing your heart with falsehood, rumor, and conniption. Could you give him back his book, please? Tell him thanks for me. I figured if anybody was going to write a book about anxiety, it would be Peter. And
yeah, I think he seems like a central character in some of your poems.
Yeah, I mean, just every now and then I like to play around with scriptures and stuff. I mean, why not? It's all fodder, you know. I mean, it almost sounds blasphemous to reduce scripture to fodder, but it all gets jumbled up in there somehow, one way or the other, you know.
Yeah, I often wonder way back when if someone wrote part of the Bible and then they got together and they had a little wine, they said, you know what? What if we ended the story like this?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Not to be sacrilegious, but I'm just wondering if there was some embellishment of.
Yeah, I mean, it was written by men, supposedly. So who knows what state of mind they were in when they wrote it. I mean, hopefully.
Irene, we have the answer. It was written by men.
Great.
Great. I love it.
Not just men, Greek men.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Oh, Terry,
Oh,
don't
man.
listen to Terry. Close your ears. She didn't say that.
I don't know what that's inferring, but
Oh, oh, I said maybe, but I guess I was muted. Maybe it was written by men. We know that
oh,
for sure.
maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, I mean, it was patriarchal.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true, but somebody might have snuck her way in there.
Yeah.
Well, Gnostically speaking, yes. I mean, there is Mary Magdalene too in the Gnostic Gospels. So, all right, this next one is a short one, and it's called Wounded Cassandra. Wounded Cassandra was a fictive kid who never escaped her absolutes. Everyone's passion, but no one's bargain. Her clamorous vigor kept men at war. Spawned her humor by passing out matches. Hoards her water far from town.
Hmm.
I don't know what that one's about. I've had that around for a long time, and it reads well. It looks good, so I'm like, oh, yeah, let's find a home for that one.
I mean, do they all just come to you all at once, or do they come and then you do some editing?
I do a lot of editing. I do a lot of editing. I chop away like crazy. As a matter of fact, I get a lot of haiku from chopping things away like crazy, especially older pieces where I was really, what's the word? Where I would really run at the mouth. The older ones get chopped down, and it's like, oh, look, I got myself a haiku and I saved that, and everything else just goes where it goes.
Are you going to read some haikus today?
I hadn't thought of it, but I could if I can go find
Yeah,
them.
just maybe, yeah, towards the end or something.
Okay.
It works.
Okay. This next one is just I don't know what this is. I know it's an e-poem. It's one of written in Lenny's structure, and it's called Impossible Transportation. Like Lucifer and the lost moon sulks behind the sour gum, you and your impossible transportation come out of nowhere with the halothane vapor and envelop the whole city in a broom of nostalgia, a fog of remorse, a mist of mishap, and no one imply of a mist of mishap no one implies. But the evil intent of this poem is, however thin, never lost to a carnivore like you, eager, engaging to dupe the dupable masses into believing that this faceless adventure in the wake of the wheel was nothing more than the grinding and groaning of contrary men, commanding a planet dying, even as we speak. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to be dark, but I forgot how that one ended. So, yeah. All right, let's go next one. I would say this would be a sing-along, but we'll take it from there. And this is a very old one that seems to fit into this conglomeration, and it's called 1906. 1906 on Telegraph Hill, where we lifted the sheets to ID our kin. The sky was hot with fire, sick with smoke, thick and dusty. The hotel from Valencia Street rested on its side. And Market Street, where Mary and I first tasted cotton candy, was gone. Twisted brick and family equal in the room. Play ye wild angels. Play ye wild angels like lightning across the sky.
So for Perry, Maria, Raphael, and Holly, and Irene, I guess should we be adding singing as part of our poetry hour? Adding a little more entertainment value to the everyone's jumping in on this, right?
You could put a brandy snifter out and put little dollars in it too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we need
Give me a
Mike,
song on the piano.
Mike, we got enough for one shot so far.
Okay, yeah. That means we're gonna have to really stretch it to get a second one.
Yeah, you gotta work it, buddy.
This is called Penny. If I had a nickel for every notion I've had for a poem, every feckless cogitation I've paginated, given rhyme, sworn to stanza, I'd apologize and give you back that nickel, make amends and add a penny, purge myself of notebooks, jump into your skin.
I love it.
Ah, where are we now? This one is also based on well, it's not a true story that I actually lived it, but I read about it. And this is called Tight Sweaters. The Army Tactical Brassiere promises to reduce the cognitive burden on its female soldiers. And if I was 50 years younger, I'd promise that too. But is it bulletproof, you ask? And that's a good question, which may or may not be answered here or at any other point in this poem about the biometric algorithm monitoring brassiere and how it looks beneath a tight red sweater, a t-shirt and bandana. And no, they are not bulletproof. I almost forgot to say. Read that in the New Yorker about the Army Tactical Brassiere, and I was just like, oh, that's got to work that out of something. I guess this next one, reflects where we're at. I mean, because everything had, all the situations that come to a generation as that are come upon or force fed into a generation. That generation always says, "Oh, it's their fault of the generation before." Okay. I really don't think that's the case now with what we have going on in this country. And I mean, half of us are just literally crazy. And I don't think that's our parents' generation anymore. I don't think that's our grandparents' generation anymore. And this is called One of Them. A certain suburban gonad twister and his scorpion made by the house next door, and there's no playing field long enough. No playing field wide enough to escape his agitation, his new rude machine that cuts the land his imperial way. He's one of those gearheads who RPM and revs you awake each Saturday morning at 8 a.m., hoards lawn jockeys and talks to his tools. Yeah, yeah, he's one of them who I wouldn't have dreamed to call one of them that weekend at Woodstock, at Monterey, at Watkins Glen.
Very nice. Hey, Mike, let's take we have a little twist in the show. We take a little break and we ask the people listening in if they have any questions or comments. Irene, Holly, Maria, Perry. I think Kathy's on.
I have a question. When, like in that last piece, you make references to 3 things, Watkins Glen, and I forget now the other
Woodstock and Monterey.
Yeah. Do you have to explain those things to the younger generation or what?
I don't know. I haven't read it to any other generation but ours. So I'm to be honest with you, yeah. So I know you guys know what it means.
Yeah.
But I would think that over time, if I do get a chance to read it to younger folks, I think they're going to at least know what Woodstock.
Right.
They might know Monterey. I doubt if they'll know Watkins Glen, but yeah.
Anybody else? Any
but it's
questions?
Not that critical, right? It's not that critical to the poem.
No, I don't think so. Not that I would have to explain it. No, I don't think so. I think Woodstock gives it away right away.
Perry, Raphael, Amanda, any comments or questions? You don't have to. Kathy, I know you're holding yourself back. You only have 10 questions. I'm only kidding. I'm busting on you.
10 questions.
I think I'm quiet on this because I I enjoy humor, but it's not something that I'm good at doing, and so it makes me, I guess, not have as many questions. But I do appreciate a lot of what you've said about cutting down, about chopping, and that's something that I've been working hard at myself, and I'm looking forward to um, hearing some of your haiku, and maybe you could talk about when you do read something. I'd love to hear about where it started, where one of them started, just to get an idea.
Okay. All right, let's just start with something simple. Okay, I like to go hiking. And if the whole haiku doesn't come with me while I'm hiking, at least an idea of it comes to me. Um, this one is, and let me say from the outset, my haiku are not necessarily sworn to the ancient structure that it has to have, it has to be about the seasons, or it has to be, it has to be 5-7-5. That part I go for, but it can also be very personal, which I guess they would call a senru. But that's how I work on it. I don't really worry about all. I think if we worried about all the ancient things that we're supposed to hold on to that creates an art, then we're not creating anything. Not that I want to take anything away from anybody who does. Just for me, that's how it works. And this is pretty much simple. I climb this mountain to root myself, be cut by the wind of season. Now, I remember distinctly when that one came to me a gazillion years ago, the first line and a half, I climbed this mountain to root myself, came to me. I was like, wow, yeah, that's cool. And then maybe a day or two later, the final part of it came to me. Some of them you write all at once, and some of them
Yeah, keep going.
take a little while. All right. Let's see. These are from a collection called Blue Fan Worry. I'm working on Monet's Bamboo. Oh, I could read some from there. Hold on. I still have the draft here. Look at that. The idea of Monet's Bamboo came, Emily and I had gone to Giverny, and it's just so beautiful out there. So a lot of these reflect that. And this is Hear Monet's Bamboo, Pray the Wind, the bird song of Giverny ascends. The world.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, read that. Then I got a question. Yeah.
Okay. Hear Monet's Bamboo, Pray the Wind, the bird song of Giverny ascends.
So Maria asks, can you give us an example of a longer poem that you found a haiku in?
Ooh.
All right, challenge.
Oh man. Yeah, let me see. Let me go through these and see where.
Yeah, Amanda and Guy, if you're new here, we always say don't let the poet off easy. Make them work for it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Anybody can read at a podium. Come on, this is like Dancing with the Stars.
Again.
What's that?
I wouldn't mind hearing that last one again.
Okay.
Monet's Bamboo.
Okay. Hear Monet's Bamboo, Pray the Wind, the bird song of Giverny ascends. Okay, Maria wanted to know where the longer ones were and got cut down.
Like a longer one, and where the haiku popped out.
Okay, I'll pick a couple others that I know came from longer pieces.
Yeah, that's fine.
But in my estimation, when I write pieces about nature, or what you might consider a love poem or a romantic poem, I am just absolutely horrible at it. And I'll sit there with them, and they'll go on for years and years, and it'll be 20 lines, it'll be 15 lines. And then eventually one day something will strike me, and it'll be like, no, if you take this out, and you take this out, and you take this out, this is what you're trying to say. And they normally shape out to be haiku when I do that. And this is one of them that came from a much longer piece about nature. Water lilies and turtles in the rain. The whole world moves without me. Let's see. I want to try and get you one of the love poems. Let's see, because that I am really bad at that. I mean, sometimes Emily's like, you never really write any love poems. I'm like, I'm sorry, but go to the haikus. They're there. With all windows closed, the honeysuckle sneaks through into our kitchen. That was a longer one also. Woodpecker in the nearness, eastern sky waking, I stand in its midst. That came from a longer one.
I like that one.
Let's see. All right, this also came. I find myself every now and then writing a lot about either writing poetry or publishing it or screaming at it or whatever the case might be. And this came from another long one. When I say long one, 25, 30 lines, because I don't really write the really long ones. And one day after several years, I looked at it and it's like, oh, God, do stop with all these words. And this came from that. It is a poet's way to wander the mountains in search for new light.
Very nice. Hey, Mike, Maria asked another question. Can you give us, she asked, how has jazz or music impacted your poetry work?
The music always does, because I don't really know if I have any prepared for today, but I have ones that do wordplay and it might even have a chorus in it or something that something repeats. And, I'll just work a rhythm around this, I'll read it with a rhythm that goes along with things. That's where the music really inspires me. And it's not just the jazz. Even though the jazz is freer, you can get a couple of rock and roll things in there from time to time too. So
Great.
let me see if I can, hold on. I'll read you one that has.
Yeah, we can see all your music stuff there in the background.
Yeah. All right, this one kind of has a musical bent to it, and it's from the new book called Buckshot Reckoning that I don't really have out yet because I'm waiting to finalize a CD that goes along with it. That was recorded with a jazz quartet. But this has a melodic situation to it, and it's called In a Room Above a Deli on a Corner in a Dream. Christmas lights kindle the morning civics at Molly's as Jack swears Jimmy was the best barkeep ever. And you nod your head, yeah, because you're new in town and don't know yet the whole borough truth, but you swear. On your mother's grave, you swear that you know these guys from a room above a deli on a corner in a dream, from a room above a deli on a corner in a dream. And you really need some downtime, but the devil in his deep blue state, how are their plans for you, boyo? In a room above a deli on a corner in a dream, in a room above a deli on a corner in a dream. That's one of the more musical ones. Well, let's do this one. Where was the other one? Hold on, I'll find it. Man, you guys got me fishing all over the place here. It's kind of cool.
No, Mike, I had a question. Maria had a question really, and it's more for me. What started first, the music or the poetry?
I guess I've been writing since I was a kid, so I would say the writing came first, and then as you listen to the Beatles or the Stones or Herman's Hermits or Herbie Hancock or whatever, it just all kind of blended in after a while. So I would say the music came second.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because I work with a couple of songwriters here in the Hudson Valley, And you'd be surprised, like 50-50, 50% of the songs that we would write, and I suspect other people do too, start from the words, and 50% start from the music. So it's that kind of situation. I mean, and to give you an idea, Elton John and Bernie Taupin, they have never worked in the same room together to write a song. All the songs start from Bernie Taupin, and he writes these lyrics. And after a month or 2 months, he goes and hands Elton a, folder full of stuff. And Elton takes him away, and he doesn't hear from Elton again until they're in the studio recording him. And he's like, come on, we're going to have to make some changes. But the songs are written that way. So you never know where it all starts from. There was another musical one in here. Where was it? Here it comes. You would think I would look under the titles page, but no, table of contents, but no, that would be way too easy. All right, I can't find it at the moment. We won't worry about that. I mean, here's another more lyrical one, I guess you could say, and it's called Train. Not much about this train ride from country to city and back again has changed in my 64-year commute. Sure, the times are more horrid and the language more insulting, and there's more expensive parking than affordable housing, and more dogs and more bikes and more cracking bandwidth as creators and influencers about shout quatrains and a sullen moon. And sure, the world, like the tracks under Park Avenue, is in desperate need of infrastructure money, and there's babies crying and babies screaming and drunks cursing because the Yanks lost, and soon the whole island will sink under the weight of its own impertinence. But that's for another day. Another rant about the river jeweling in the tricky sky, the small towns rolling past, the kid at the window watching.
Wow. You capture that one.
I got lucky on a series of train things, and that's like the best of them, I guess. Let's see. Some of these poems are going to be old to Guy and Amanda and Refill. They're my homies. But I'm going to read this one. I guess this one's kind of lyrical too, in a way, and it's called Yearbook. Frost's granddaughter convinced me of my brilliance as she held me between her legs like I was the last poet on earth. We were young, so sex closed the deal. Rock that girl and you were the next big thing in the land of letters. Bite her neck and she read your words with worship. Oh man, I could do that. It was junior year and I had spunk aplenty. My tongue between her cleavage, her lips on my belly, our fingers tracing sweat. I had a way with alliteration that was totally American, she said. My hands on her feverish ass, foraging for her fulcrum, breathing warm along her panty line, their color that of open sky.
And was that, you say a junior in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
No,
I missed that class. Yeah.
I missed that.
I took driver's ed instead of sexual alliteration.
Or
I made a
maybe you
mistake.
took, or did you take typing maybe? Because that's what
Oh
this one.
yeah, yeah. No, I had typing later and I failed horribly.
Well, this one's called Old Man Maneri's typing class. I learned a lot about rhythm in Old Man Maneri's typing class. They're only after your money, he'd bark. Now's the time for acceptance. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. His mealy eyes punch holed like a fossil, and click clack went the class again. Click clack went the clock again. Click clack went the class again. The sieged get served cold soup, he'd cry, and click clack went the clock again. Click clack went the clock again. Oh. I'm sure this one might. I'm sure we all know about using the Post-its to try and remember things, right? This is called color code.
I mean, this stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is called color code. I've outsourced my brain to square colored paper. Blue tomorrows, pink and soft purple, lilac missions, holding fast upon the fridge. Let's do a couple more haikus if we got time. The unforgiving work of revolution is in all of our hands. The snow is falling. I do not feel so alone in the world right now. Let's see. This one comes from just a sequence of things I was trying to put together and it didn't work, and I came up with this. Haley swing in a field of green apples. In the wind chimes, God resides. But you can also use these haiku structures to make a statement or make a political statement. Hopefully this one does. A sad one, but I live 4 miles from $3 general stores. My America. Oh, right. Where's that? Where's that one with the warm contour of her neck cradled in the crook of my arm, asleep. That was from a very long, monotonous love poem. And I just took the phrases out of it and made it into that. And we'll do one more. Okay. There we go. No, not that one. She breaks the fog, sunrise silhouette, beautiful, lovely, jogging by. That one too came from another long one. It was a city sketch. You know, you do that, you just start taking images of the city and writing them down and trying to put them into place, and they didn't work. And then I was like, nope, that's it, the whole thing right there. We'll do one more. And let's see. And speaking of, no, I don't want to do it. All right. Sometimes you can get into the alliteration of things as your book does. And I like trying to do that in that small space of a 575. And this was also from a jazz piece that didn't work, a longer poem about jazz that didn't work. And again, you sit down at some point and you're just like, I know there's something here. And this is what I think is there anyway. And it's called Mingus. Well, it's not called anything, but Mingus and the Moon over Mohonk, the myths, the mountain melody. For those of you not familiar with Mohonk, it's the Mohonk Mountain and the Minnewaska Reserve, the beautiful one-of-a-kind state park that we have here, just about 10 miles away in New Paltz and in Ulster County, really, not just New Paltz. Any questions? Any requests?
Yeah, let's take another little Q&A.
Okay.
Maria, you've outdone yourself today. You're getting an A on your question report card. Guy or Terry, Raphael, I know Amanda's still here. Irene, anybody questions, comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. I think in referring back all the way back to the question about jazz and Mike's poetry, I think, Mike, a lot of your longer poems are like riffing And I think that's, sometimes it works for you and sometimes it doesn't, but I can see the jazz idea of picking up something and then running with it and touching something else and carrying it up, carrying it away. So
Mhm.
I like that actually. Yeah.
There's thank you for pointing that out, but there's very few of the longer ones. And when we say longer ones, I mean, I don't think any of my stuff reaches 36 lines, if at all. But when I do get to riff on something, I'll keep it that way simply because it does riff, you know, even if it's not like, well, that's not really the poem I like, but even if it does riff, I'll leave it there because it's fun to do, you know. Um, I-
I think the idea of the long versus the short and cutting out is a perplexing question that I deal with too. I often write a shorter poem because I want every word to count, but then sometimes I feel pressure to expand it.
Mhm.
Or sometimes my favorite critic, my husband, says, well, you didn't say enough. And that's a delicate an interesting balance to figure out.
It's a delicate balance. Emily does that sometimes. She goes, well, I think you should add a little more. And I'm like, and immediately if she says that, if I don't have some way to squirrel out of that poem might linger around for 20 years before I ever go back and look at it again.
It does seem harder to add than to subtract in a work. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. I trip over myself so many times when I'm trying to make things longer, and it doesn't work. It rarely doesn't work.
Well, it's not longer for the sake of longer, but it's longer if you haven't given the reader or the listener, enough to
Mhm.
grab onto. And well, it's like teaching writing. We know what we are trying to say, but do we convey that adequately is the question. I also think about the question about Woodstock and the other places. I don't think that needs to be explained, just as you just explained about the park or the mountain that you live near. I mean, how often, I mean, if we go back and read Yeats or Chaucer, we have to figure things out. We have to look up references. I don't think everything like that, I think sometimes a reader can do a little work.
I've got no problem with the reader doing some work. Absolutely not.
And I think, Mike, too, you're good with the cultural comments and political poems, because I really hate strident, serious political poems that, have an agenda and come at you with it. They never work. But I
Right.
think the use of humor, and satire underlying it, you have a knack for that. And that's really good.
Thank you.
Ditto. Ditto.
Hey, Mike, before you continue,
Yeah.
Amanda and Guy, if you want to be on our our mailing list for, we have a live poetry reading every week. We can put you on the list, get notified of that. And we record everything, so you have a link to the recordings. If you want to be courageous and read on one of our shows, obviously, Mike will have to be in the audience to critique you. Let us know if you want to read. Amanda and Guy are now signing off from this. Yeah. My
Yeah,
email's there if you're interested
really,
in
you
the
get.
chat.
I was gonna say, John, that both Amanda and Guy are excellent readers, excellent writers. You can't go wrong inviting them to read.
Yeah, well,
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'll sign up for that list.
And I know Raphael's reading sometime in February. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
John, I
just
couldn't
posted
bring
my
myself.
email. Yeah, if you're
I
interested.
couldn't
Yeah.
bring myself to watch the recording of the other one that I did. It's scary. Oh, but that's great. Yeah.
No,
Can you-
I was present for that. I remember it. It was very good.
Oh, thank you.
Raphael mentioned ones that I tend to riff on, and I think if there's a riff, if there is one I've riffed on, I think it's this one. And this might be the last one for the day. And it's called Screaming Jay Hawkins and Me in Our Prime. I'm lost in a parking lot on the left coast with an Afghan Kush and a Grey Goose buzz when Screaming Jay Hawkins jumps the Sierra screaming, what can I do with 88 kids and each mama want my jam? Get in, you son of a bitch, I salvo, kicking the gas like a mule bucks gravity. Hurling down coastal Route 1 with an off-subpoenaed rock and roll legend in my car does not faze me. Hell no. I expect these things from time to time. The brain unhinged, the whole world going batshit. Screaming Jay riffing in the passenger seat is no more nuts to me than dumping poisons in the ocean to my left. Its vast sky full with the moans of our daughter's womb engines, pumping out pilots and privates and warlords that no one believes can win anymore. That's good. That's when I love to riff with the quartet, man. We have fun with that. You can see some of the Caps jazzoetry events on the Facebook page for Caps. Calling all poets, I mean.
So, Mike, you'll like this little segue. We went to see a local theater company do a 12th night play.
Mhm.
And what they did is they incorporated all these holiday songs. So he's going, who in yonder window looks, and then all of a sudden is, baby, it's cold outside. It would just, it all synced together beautifully. Like there were 12 holiday songs in 12th night, and there were musicians on the stage who became actors. I feel like you've got this kind of like jazz poetry ensemble going on. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're actually hoping to stage, if I could do some shameless self-promotion, we're calling all poets is hoping to do at least 3 jazzoetry events this year. One for celebration of Juneteenth, one as part of the Kingston Art Walk sometime in September. I don't know what that date is. And I'm waiting to hear back from where jazzoetry originated for us is Quinn's Restaurant in Beacon, and hopefully we'll do something there in April. And the guys, the quartet that we use are just some of the finest players here in the Hudson Valley. And the poets step up, and we all have a lot of fun. But
absolutely great.
You
Anybody, any final questions or comments? Guy and Amanda, you know where to get in touch with me. Don't make me chase you down. Only kidding. Only kidding. Only kidding.
Yeah, Guy, Amanda, I can always send you John's email.
Yeah,
too.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Yeah. And I have
And
to
I
keep
just
going
I just sent John an email.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So thank you.
Yeah.
I'll do the same in a minute. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah.
And
yeah.
Mike, this has been great to be able to hear you read. A lot of times at Caps, you're like quiet or anything. It's great to be able to hear so much of your work.
Thank
I
you.
was gonna say that the haikus, they're like little snapshots, and I just really appreciate that about them. And I really enjoyed reading Blue Fan Worry and just appreciating those haiku all the way through.
Thank you. You're too kind. If I had thought about printing out some of the newer ones, I would have tried that, but I just totally forgot. Yeah. But
no, I feel like it's some not to listen. I think every poetry hour is unique and fantastic, but I think yours has been very, I don't know what the word is, organic, off the cuff. There is kind of like a jazz thing with your hour today where it just kind of like the music of the poetry is leading us somewhere. I love it. I think it's great.
thank you. Well, I don't like to do anything too formal, so I'm gonna try and ease it up a bit.
So I ask the big question: when were you ever formal? I guess that's the big question.
Not in recent memory that I can. I don't know. But there was a time.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when all of us took ourselves a little bit too
seriously?
Yeah, that's the word. And so I really try not to do that.
Yeah, you're right. You got to be who you are right now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, I appreciate everyone attending. We had a very nice audience today, and we'll see everybody that wants to come next week. Mike, thanks a lot. This is, I've been fighting this post-walking pneumonia stuff, so I haven't felt great, but I feel completely energized right now. Not that I'm going to go run outside. I'm going to run upstairs. But no, this is really great. I feel very energized, and I have a lot of laughter in my heart right now. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Irene,
Thank
Perry,
you.
everybody. Thanks for joining Rayfield. Amanda, how cold is it in Texas?
Well, it was like 8 degrees, but we're warming up again. That's
Mhm.
cold for here. I mean, they don't
8
That is
degrees in
cold.
Texas?
they don't
You
deal
kidding?
with that here. Yeah, we had that.
8 degrees? Where in
It
Texas?
was. Yeah, and near
Warmer
Dallas
up
in Fort
here.
Worth.
Really?
Yeah,
Pretty insane,
Yeah.
huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, man, the cold weather is everywhere.
Yeah.
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 Thank you, Mike. That was very enjoyable.
Thanks, Irene. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Maria.
terrific.
Okay. All right.
Bye,
Talk to everybody soon.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks,
Stay
Mike.
healthy.
You
Yep,
too. I am.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you,
Thanks,
John.
Maria.
Yeah. You're welcome. Take care.
That was cool.
Cool.